Welcome to the AFR Saints channel, where we provide you daily content on your favorite team, the New Orleans Saints. Do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. Be sure to leave your comments below and smash that like button. Who dat? Todd McShay has put out a new mock draft. And I understand mock drafts are like, you know what's. Everybody's got one. You know the same. Like opinions. Everybody's got one. But look, I mean, people put credence into what guys like McShay say, and I do, because not only are they good at their jobs, you're also plugged in. When you get to that level at a place like ESPN, there are people that talk to you. There are scouts and there are general managers and coaches that will talk to you. So I take what they say with a degree of credence. And so McShay put out his latest mock draft, and it's a 2-round mock draft. Every pick for the first 2 rounds. Interestingly, no LSU Tigers in the first 2 rounds. So no Kayshon Boutte, no B.J. Ojulari in this mock draft, which is a little surprising to see. But if you go 2 rounds without an LSU Tiger hearing their name called, that would be an oddity. We'll look for some historical perspective on that if that day comes. As for the Saints, McShay does have the Saints going defensive line at 29. I'm probably going to have to work hard to learn this name, because if in fact the Saints do select this player, I'm going to have to learn this name. But it's defensive lineman from Northwestern, can play inside and out. Adetomiwa Adebaware. I think I nailed it. Maybe I didn't. Time will tell. But listen, we all understand, and McShay puts it in the write-up. Davenport, Onyemata, Tuttle have all signed elsewhere. Kentavious Street as well. You lost a boatload on the defensive line. He notes that the Saints were last in the NFL in pass rush win rate, 25th in run stop win rate. Here you have a hybrid edge guy that can play inside or out. 5 sacks, 10.5 tackles for loss. Every down starter in the NFL early in his career. That would be awesome if you went that direction. I want to say this again. The singular must, not even like want, need, how teams always differentiate between wants and needs. The defensive line for the New Orleans Saints is a must, an absolute, no doubt, indisputable must. You not only don't have production, you don't even have numbers at that spot. Despite the fact that you've signed a couple of guys in free agency, you have got to get defensive linemen. And if you're not going to get starting caliber players in free agency outside of what you've already done, you absolutely have got to draft a dominant interior player, or someone that can be a dominant interior player. And the best spot you're going to be able to do that is at 29. So as long as the Saints go defensive line at 29, I really don't care what they do the rest of the draft, because literally every other position on the field, they have a need. The Saints need a receiver. The Saints need a true tight end. The Saints need offensive linemen. They need quarterback. They need defensive line. They need linebackers, corners, safeties. Like, you could pick any running backs, anybody else. They have needs. So I like what McShay has done. He's got him going with the defensive lineman out of Northwestern at 29 and coming back with pick 40 and taking Darnell Washington, the tight end out of Georgia. Now, the last mock draft McShay did, he had the Saints taking Darnell Washington at 29. So if you have a 6'7", 264-pound tight end who runs like a gazelle, that can play a fixed, as a attached tight end that can also go catch passes, yeah, give me that guy. I'd be pumped if the Saints ended up with those 2 picks, those 2 players with their first 2 picks. Now, the one caveat is I just don't know for sure that the Saints are going to stay at 29. As a matter of fact, Bill Barnwell recently did his what each team should do with their pick, and he has the Saints trading up. And that wouldn't surprise me at all, because that's what the Saints do. They trade up. They don't stay pat. They move up. They get aggressive. There's a player they like, they move up. And they're in almost the exact position they were in 2018 when they drafted Marcus Davenport. When they took Davenport, the Saints had this 27th pick in the draft. This year they have the 29th. That year they had the 27th pick in the draft, and they moved up to 14. Remember what they gave up for it? They gave up a 5 and the next year's 1. So they basically swapped 27 and 14. And to move up, they gave up that year's 5th round pick and the next year's 1st round pick. So look at what the Saints have this year. They've got a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, 2 5s because of the C.J. Gardner-Johnson trade, and then 2 7s. One of the 7 is because of the is a compensatory pick. So you got 8 draft picks, including 2 5th-round picks. It is totally conceivable the Saints can do the exact same thing they did in the Marcus Davenport trade, which was trade that year's 5, which you've got 2 of them this year, and the next year's 1. And oh, by the way, you're essentially getting another first-round pick this year because of Trevor Pennick. I know that's an asterisk caveat and all that stuff, but like you took 2 first-round players last year, and you really only used one of them, Chris Olave, because of Pennick's injury, and he was out until the end of November. So this, in many ways, is kind of like a rookie year for Trevor Pennick, and then you'll have another player that you take in round 1, be it at 29 or if you move up. So I'm just saying, file that away. The Saints, in almost this exact spot back in 2018, moved up to the middle of round 1 and got a player they really liked. Could you see a player hovering somewhere in the teens that New Orleans really likes? It was Nolan Smith of Georgia falling a little bit. Do you see Miles Murphy, the defensive end from Clemson, still sitting on the board? You could see a scenario, and you likely will see a scenario, where there's a player that most teams have going top 10 who starts to slip a little bit, and maybe the Saints see great value and they go get him. Would not rule that out of the possible scenarios for New Orleans. If they stand pat at 29 and 40, I like what McShay has them doing. Defensive line, tight end. Great. But I wouldn't be stunned to see him move up either. There's precedent for the Saints doing it in almost the exact same situation, and it's a year where they've got the collateral to do it if they wanted to. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.